Hi, I am Shallalla. I am a creativity coach who specializes in working with singers. And today is a very, very special day because I am joined with the beautiful Aliki Katriou, who is a singing teacher and a distortion specialist and a wonderful human being.
Hi.
And we are going to talk about some mental challenges for people that want to do harsh vocals. Can everyone learn how to do harsh vocals?
Theoretically, yes. Now, there might be some issues. Obviously, we need to exclude any serious neurological problems that would make singing difficult anyway. But if you're healthy and you're normal and you're fine and whatever, yeah, sure. If you've had vocal problems, yes, it's just move more slowly. Like if you've had polyps, nodules, hemorrhages, stuff like that, just do it a little bit more slowly. If you are post-menopause or in your 70s and you're kind of experiencing aging voice, again, moving a little bit more slowly. Some things might not be as agile and flexible as they would be in a 15-year-old. If you're transgender, you've started your hormone therapy, etc., and you've got a voice that is changing, take it slowly. Yeah, everyone can learn how to do it.
That's amazing. The things that you do, they sound so out of the norm.
From the cradle, from the god.
That is actually one of my questions. I'm always scared of damaging my voice. And so a question for me would be, is there a way to make these tortured noises without actually torturing your voice?
Yes.
Long question, short answer.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot of fear and a lot of terror that is generated around voice, and a lot of it stems from singing teachers and cruel marketing strategies where, you'll get a singer like Adele who has some complications and has to go in for surgery, which is completely normal. It's normal to get injured if you're singing all day long. I know no human being that isn't doing this professionally is using their voice that much. Especially if you're a pop artist, you've got interviews all day long, you're talking all day long, you wake up, you do radio, it's terrible, you have no rest time. We still live in a world where people are like, oh, you've got your speaking voice and your singing voice. It's the same thing. So you get those kind of complications, and then she'll go in for surgery and you'll get 1,000 articles, newspapers, everyone reporting. And of course, they always reach out to some singing teacher, and the singing teacher is going to say the magical thing of, oh, if she had good technique. And you're like, no, on every ethical and emotional level, no. It doesn't work that way. You don't get like a professional rugby player being injured and then everyone's like, oh, well, if he had good technique. It's like, he has good technique. Shit happens. It's mean and it's cruel, especially in the case of Adele, which really annoys me.
Okay.
It really annoys me because everyone just goes on and on and on and on and on about her technique. And it's like, if you care a little bit more and you're just wondering what might be going wrong, there are clear interviews in which she says that she suffers from extreme anxiety. She's incredibly stressed before she goes on stage, and it's almost common and standard for her to throw up before going on stage. This is an extreme problem. I mean, this is a performance anxiety issue. It should be addressed. Vocal technique is not going to fix the problem. And so it's just that. It's figure out where the problem is, figure out what this professional needs and help them. And don't bash them. And the whole idea that you'll get injured if you don't have good technique, it's cruel. It's really cruel because it's doing that standard thing, which is putting the blame on the singer. It's like, oh, did you get injured? It's your fault. Oh, did something happen to you? It is your fault. And it's like, no, shit happens. if we exclude the whole paranoia
Mhm.
that singing teachers create, so that then you get really, really scared and you're like, oh my God, I have to have lessons. I need to pay these people. I think that you're pretty safe in most clean singing as long as you're not blasting the volume and thinking that you're going to compete with an electric guitar that's plugged in. It's like, use the microphone. It's there for a reason. And then you go into harsh vocals. There's very little to be afraid of. If you have any pain or anything feels wrong or you're fatigued, it's an early warning sign from your body. Just rest. Wait until it goes away. Continue. You will probably, on the way to harsh vocals, most likely you will encounter pain at some point. Again, kind of like sports and working out and pushing your body, whether you're stretching or whether you're strengthening, at some point you'll be like, oh my God, I felt it. The only difference is that with voice, we're not used to feeling it. And so when we do feel it, we're like, heart attack.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation. Yeah, because I couldn't agree more with, I'm not going into Adele right now because it's a topic that annoys me as well. There's a reason why there are creativity coaches and there are singing teachers or vocal coaches. We are two different creatures. I do not try to teach someone vocal technique, but I am here for somebody who has performance anxiety and the like. As you just said, it's two different issues and they need to be addressed differently. You already talked a little bit about lifestyle and like having interviews and stuff. I see it especially in the harsh vocals community. So people party all night or are expected to party all night, and then they go on stage and expect to perform this extreme vocal technique.
Yeah.
How do you balance that? I mean, you are in a band yourself, and are you just like boring or?
Oh yes. Yeah, of course. I'm like the most boring person ever. And everyone else in my band is boring as well. It's so nice. Let's break it down into sections. First thing is, if you are tired, if you are slightly drunk, if you are just a little bit, you are more likely to be physically less able to push. And so if you are a pusher, it might be good to be tired and drunk. So there are some ways in which being in that bad physical condition benefits certain singers. Now, I don't believe it will benefit the average person. So the first thing that you definitely need is to be really, really honest. You have to be honest. And that is honest to the point of, are you the kind of person who can drink like never-ending amounts of beer and you're fine, versus you have half a glass of wine and you're dead from it? Notice those things. Notice those things. Be aware of those things. There is no standard. The minute you're looking at substances and anything going inside your body, you're starting to look at biochemistry and you're starting to look at really complex interactions that are kind of unpredictable to a certain degree, and you have no idea what's going to happen. So if you've got your friend who says, oh my God, you know, I drink spicy food and then I cannot sing anything, and then you've got me who's like, give me spicy food all day long, it is not going to be a problem. Notice what your body responds to. If you have an addiction, again, just be honest with yourself. Just be like, okay, this is the status quo. This is the way things are. And be aware of it and, I don't know, work around your addictions in weird ways. So do the live show and then be like, I get a present of indulging in my addiction after the live show. Like, make it a little bit more of a fun game. And if you are emotionally and psychologically ready, seek help. I think what's lovely about metal specifically is that most metalheads are very aware of addiction. And if you turn around to a group of metalheads and you talk about your addiction and you seek help or advice, they're very, very happy to help. Like, you won't get any... It's not rock music, because very often in rock music, people deny addictions. Whereas in metal, there's a lot better understanding, at least from what I've experienced. I think rock music is much, much harder than metal music, because metal music has a slight culture and a group of kind of important human beings who are straight edge. So everyone's completely clean, no substance abuse, nothing, and it's not considered lame or bad, so that's great. And also metalheads love like classical music, and they love classical ideals, and they love this whole idea of, oh, you know, you spend so much time with your vocals, like you're professional, you really know what you're doing, you can repeat it. There's a virtuoso ideal thing. And within that context, literally being the boring person and saying, no, is really respected.
Mm-hmm.
And metalheads really like strength of character, so it just works really well in metal. If you've got the ideal of metal, think more down the lines of metalheads. They like people who stand out. They like people who don't follow the group. So why on earth should you drink with everyone else? Why should you exhibit mob behavior? Just stand out. If you are in the rock aspect, and you're coming from that perspective, I would probably play like the authenticity and coolness card and the whole independence and I'm so epic and look at me, I'm cool, I'm not drinking. I'd probably go down that route and kind of keep it as part of the whole facade and image. Rock is very much about image, metal less so. Someone asked me recently about earplugs and in-ear monitors and ear health, and I'm like, yes, let's talk about it. It was funny because the question was framed as if it's not cool to look after your ears, and I think that's a rock thing. This is not a thing in metal. I've only ever met one person who didn't wear earplugs, and that is counting all the musicians on stage and all the audience. You always wear your earplugs. You question how much and how seriously they actually love music.
So there's a huge difference of how things look, or what people make things look like, and what they actually look and feel and sound like. I think that is a huge mental challenge.
This is one of those cases in which classical singing and babies are extremely helpful examples. Because classical singing is not volume. It's resonance. You need to produce a sound that will carry over an orchestra. So you need the sound to travel. That doesn't mean that you're going like, "Wah!" and just basing everything on decibels. All singing is kind of using an illusion to create the volume that it does. It's all resonance work, and we're not very loud. Even if it is loud in other people's ears, it doesn't mean physically you are producing that volume. And this is where babies come in. When a baby starts crying and screaming, etc., it's really, really loud. But that baby is not physically able to produce decibels of volume. I mean, its lungs are like, and the vocal folds are like, all they're doing is they are exciting the air molecules in a way that is confusing to our own ears, and our ears are sensitive to that. I think if you want to get like really nerdy about it, instead of obsessing over singing, start reading on ears and how we actually hear things, and the fact that our ears don't function in a linear way. I hear a lot of singing teachers and vocal coaches say that distortions are not loud. Depends on the distortion, depends on who's doing it. If I am scanning through countries and I get the average American metal singer versus the average European one, the Americans are not as loud on average. And it's a lot of things, and it has to do with the whole history of the genre in those countries and how it kind of came to be, and the crossovers between other genres. We're louder. We're louder than the Americans. In clean singing, I would say the Americans are louder. But harsh singing, Europeans are pretty loud.
With the difference of what it looks like and what it actually sounds like, I think you are a perfect example, because when I watch videos of you singing, you look very relaxed. Everything looks very relaxed. A produced music video, you see this, wow, and the veins popping out and everything. That can also be an issue, that people think, oh, that's what I have to look like.
I think that's where artistry comes in. In all arts, you've got two kind of really important components. The first thing is the skill, which is the technical level. The artistry level is taking that skill, creating an illusion where everyone thinks that you had feelings whilst you were doing Hamlet's monologue for the 13,000th time in your life, and you were thinking of your shopping list at the same time. The whole effort and the whole face is the artistry part. There's no part of the skill that requires this. Like, this is just off. I'm sometimes a little bit mean towards some of my students, where, you know, I'll let them make the sound and then I'm like, do it again. And once I'm like, okay, they can make this sound, this is consistent. What I will sometimes say is, could you explain the working hypothesis of how you believe that any of these facial muscles are contributing? And then they're just like, I'm like, yeah, let's do it again without the face. The face is for the audience, to enhance what they are kind of going through and to make it more fun and entertaining for them. I don't need to make faces. After every single song, I drink water. It's a standard thing, and it's for two reasons. It's first of all so that I am consistently hydrating, and I don't suddenly end the gig and find out that, oh my God, bleh. It's like, no, just consistency is always good. It's a good thing. And second of all, it's really, really, really nice because you're doing something practical, and at the same time, there's downtime and you don't have to talk to the audience. I hate this concept that a singer constantly during downtime for everyone else needs to be using the instrument. It's like, I would much, much rather give the microphone to the bassist and be like, talk to them. It's also nice because you get that, like, you get out of the song that just ended and you get ready for the next one.
Yeah, you get grounded a little bit. Yeah. And especially like when you drink something and the water goes down your body, it really does something. You're able to feel your whole body. It literally grounds you, like to get out of your head and into your body. You said interviews, the amount of work that is put on the vocalist is just mean. You're supposed to entertain the audience. You're supposed to sing and be on pitch and be perfect and have the emotion and everything. Live the lifestyle, or at least make it look like you're living the lifestyle. And I mean, even if you don't drink, if you don't party, you're still living the tour life, which is so hard on your body. So this is kind of like a little bit of cuddling towards all the vocalists. You're doing a really hard job.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah. I know.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of those jobs where, you know, almost everyone doing it, if not everyone doing it, loves it. Because why would you ever do it? It's just so much work.